As we discussed in the last video in the market update, I wanted to do a case study on two properties that sold in the last quarter. This is for the second quarter of 2026. If you recall, I mentioned there's a Bay House model, which is a four bedroom, 2.5 bathroom home. And there was two properties. One was at 16557 Northwest 15th Street, and the other property was at 16400 Northwest 15th Street. Again, block and a half away from each other, opposite sides of the street. The property at 16400, let's discuss this in detail. This home was on the lake, so it's on the south side of the street. It's lakefront property. It had no pool. The property has a roof, and the AC, the central AC unit, was replaced less than 12 months ago. Okay, the house has accordion shutters throughout the whole property. Original owners, very well kept home. Little small upgrades like vanity changes in one of the bathrooms, but overall probably an original house. Kitchen was not updated, but builder grade upgrades, full cabinets, 42-inch cabinets, the granite countertops. So it was a nice property, original flooring throughout, very nice large neutral tile. I mean, the builder did a very good job with this, with the upgrades that it gave as a builder upgrade. Okay, so we're talking about a house that has a pool, excuse me, no pool, a lake, new roof, new AC, original home. For lack of better words, let's just kind of like bullet point it. The other property, which is 16557 Northwest 15th Street, this property has no lake. It's on a dry lot. It has a pool, a small pool, but a pool nonetheless. It has an original roof, so the roof was about 25 years old. The property's AC was about 8 to 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Probably should have researched that for you in more detail, but I'm pretty sure it was around 10 years old. So again, not quite at the end of its life cycle, but getting there. Now what these folks did, flooring, original flooring in the main living areas, kind of like the property A, but they did have laminate wood flooring in the other bedrooms. Nice job. What they did is they upgraded all bathrooms and they upgraded the kitchen. Really nicely done. I mean, they took no shortcuts on it. Now, it's not like they replaced the cabinets. They just had them thermofoiled in a different color. I mean, they just did it right. They did add an island in the middle of the kitchen. So it was, aesthetically, it was a beautiful property. Okay, so here's where things get a little tricky. And I've been running a survey with different realtors, friends of mine, coworkers, and getting feedback, and we're split down the middle. It's a 50-50. So I'm going to ask you, because I want your opinion on this. If you were a buyer, would you put more value on a house that needs to have, and again, needs is a stretch of the word, but a house that you would probably upgrade because it is about 25 years old at this point. It's a kitchen, but functional and great shape, but a 25-year-old kitchen. Would you put more value on that than you would on a roof? Again, new kitchen, new bathrooms, brand new roof. Let's say, for argument's sake, that the pool in the lake is a wash. I don't see it that way. I do think that I would give a little more value possibly to the lake, just because you could always build a pool. I mean, these homes, if you know Spring Valley, maybe you don't, I shouldn't assume that you do. These are all decent lots. They're all big lot homes. That's one of the big advantages of Spring Valley. The smallest lot I think I've seen, and there's about 8,000 square feet. And more often than not, you're 9 to 10, 11,000 square foot lots. So there's always room for a pool. You can't build a lake, so it's all things being equal. The elevation, there's two elevations. The one that at 16557 has, the easiest way to describe this is in the primary bedroom, the primary bath, which is to the front of the house. The elevation on one is kind of like a part of an octagon, right? So it's not corners. And the other one is flush. It comes all the way out, so it's perfectly rectangular. This gives you about 58 more square feet in the property. Besides that, the entryway on the outside, it's a little more, it's larger. It's a little nicer in that aspect, but it's just a choice of elevation. You're not really adding much more square footage to the house. Besides that, they're identical homes. I mean, all the way through. Okay, one of the properties, the remodeled property. So I'm going to focus on this. We went onto the market Basically, they both went onto the market at the same price. They both closed within 3 weeks of each other, so we did have an overlap where we were showing both properties at the same time. So I had plenty of buyers that went to the one property and then saw the other property. Well, not plenty, because I got to get into that. On the property that was remodeled, we went live and we had, I think it was a total of 6 showings. I think 3 of them had seen the other property. So we had 6 showings. We stopped showing. It was like Friday, Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, as we had those showings. Sunday we didn't show, and by Sunday evening we had 3 offers. On the first property that's not remodeled, that property was on the market for 28 days. We had close to 19 showings, and we had 1 offer. Which would you think closed for more? I'm showing pictures of both. 16557. You'll see pictures how nicely done the kitchen is, how the pool is not huge, how the master bath, the primary bedroom bathroom is done so nicely. Okay? And then pictures of 16400. Original property, very nice floor plan, also very well kept. The first property, the remodeled property, sold for $840,000. So we were barely 1.5% off asking price. The not remodeled property, which took us quite a bit longer, sold for $820,000. So about 3.5% off asking price. What do I attribute it to? I think a lot of it has to do with affordability, convenience. It's starting to indicate that buyers rather have a done product, more of a turnkey situation. That's definitely a big segment of it. And I think another big segment of it is affordability. I mean, these are not cheap prices. South Florida is not a very affordable marketplace in real estate. So I think people are stretching to buy the house, and they realize they're not going to have the funds to remodel to taste. So if you can find something that's been done in a nice neutral taste that's appealing to most people, they're going to pull the trigger on that one. I was shocked. I really was. A roof right now, these are 1-story homes, about 2,600 square feet under air. So with the garage and such, you have a little over 3,000 square foot footprint of a roof. The seller of the property that had the new roof spent $60,000. So again, it's weird. I do understand there's one thing here that you need to understand is if I bought a house today and 2 years from now I need to get a roof done on it because the roof has reached the end of its life cycle or it's leaking, what have you, my insurance carrier might tell me it's too old of a roof, change it. I can usually finance that. So it's not that heavy layout of money. I assume that's got to be the case. Bottom line, what I'm saying is, folks, if you're in a house and you're going to be there for the next 7, 8, 5 years, and you've been thinking of remodeling it, do it. Remodel to your taste. Make sure you don't go crazy, like super personalized. But if you put something nice out there, you'll get more money for it down the road. And you'll get years and years of use out of it. That's the main thing. We should never think of remodeling with the intent to sell. Remodel for your use of it, and you'll be pleasantly surprised as to how fast it'll go. I guess that's all I have for you today. It's an interesting one. Do me a favor. Put in the comments which one you would have thought with both things. I'll put a little bit like a bullet point thing here. You tell me which of the two you would have thought would have gone for more money. I'm just curious because, as I say, I surveyed a bunch of realtors and we were kind of split down the middle. Anyhow, that's it for today. Subscribe if you like. I want to keep bringing you more information. I'll talk to you guys soon.